All right, now I'm recording. So, guys, welcome along tonight. I'm having a shocker here tonight, so we'll kick in. So tonight's webinar, we're going to go through a whole heap of stuff here. We're going to take you through a simple digital marketing funnel. We're going to explore some key concepts in digital marketing. We're going to find the right social platform for you. We're going to discuss how you generate content systematically, which I find is one of the biggest issues that most people have. And then we're then going to explore creating your own digital marketing plan. So we've got some options going on tonight. So there's a whole heap of stuff to talk about. The first thing is, let me just take you through this, this digital marketing funnel, because what I'm trying to do is just sort of, I know this looks a bit complex, but I'll try to simplify it. So really what you want to have is, if we start up on the top left-hand column here with some sort of thought leadership strategy. So we really want to have a strong thought leadership strategy that where you understand your target market, the offer and the plan they've got, and how we're going to work together. We then need to think about what content do we require, right? So what content do we want to produce? Things like blogs, ebooks, videos, webinars, podcasts, all that sort of stuff. So we need to build some content. You drop down then to some of that content can be what we call lead magnets, and they're things that you can give away for free in your business on your website and stuff to help get traffic to your website and to get people to start taking notice of what it is that you do. So we're going to have some lead magnet stuff. Now, the key to all this is to have a strong website. So your website is almost, and we'll go through this in a bit more detail, but it's an area where it's the publishing engine and it's the center of your digital marketing strategy. So without a strong website, your digital marketing strategy is a bit all over the place, because people think it's all about social media, but social media is very, very transient. All right. So if you don't happen to be online at the same time that I post, so if I don't go online for a couple of days, I will miss all your LinkedIn posts and all the great stuff you're putting up, and therefore what we run into is some real challenges around that. So what we want to do is use our website as the core. So we sort of bring people back to our website from social media and from other places. And that's where we have our landing pages and all that sort of stuff. So if you follow the process down, so this is the fast process. Have some lead magnets. We put them and our content on our website. We then make direct contact with people. Yeah. So via email, text, media, whatever methodologies we're using to direct contact them, then we want to get out there and make sure we can't contact them. Part of that direct contact then needs to be a call to action. All right. So something that gets people to make a call to action. And that call to action could be to push them through to a conversion tool like a webinar or a sales call or a podcast or something else. But it could directly just take them to a landing page. Yeah. So normally there's a landing page. Those landing pages will be on your website. And that's just a simple page that then helps you to sell whatever it is that you're trying to undersell. And from that, we should develop some business. If we don't, we need to load people into some sort of follow-up process, where there's a bit of maintenance and we keep in touch with them, and then occasionally you make a special offer to them which can reinvigorate them again. Now, all that stuff hangs off your website. So that's the core process. So the core of it is thought leadership strategy, build some content and some lead magnets, hang that all off your website, use then some direct contact methodology to get people to your website, via a call to action or conversion tool or whatever, to go to a landing page that's on your website, and then you can try and convert them into business in some way, shape, or form, and that will vary from business to business. Now, I guess what social media has done is really that left-hand column. So you can actually have your thought leadership, decide what social platforms you're going to work on, and then build awareness of you and your business in that distribution phase, if you like, by building a good profile. So if you're going to be on social media, profiles like LinkedIn and those sorts of places, you need to have a good profile. You can follow people, you can share information, you can like what they do, you can do all that sort of stuff. So that's building awareness of you, so building your network and all those sort of things. You need to build some credibility as well. So we build credibility through discussions, mentions, comments, those sorts of things, and by posting original content. So that original content, blogs and all those sorts of things that are on your website, and you post some content and you link back to your content on your website. So you're bringing people back to that publishing engine of yours, that conversion tool of yours on your website. All right. So you post content, you then connect with people and that sort of stuff. And again, you have a call to action, and then you feed them back to your website again. So you can see how critical your website is to this whole process. So if we don't have a great website, there's not much point in doing lots of the other stuff. Yeah. Because you're not taking anybody anywhere. And one of the issues I see with social media all the time is we get caught up in vanity likes. So how many people like our posts and all that sort of stuff. And it can be really challenging. And I've had conversations where we've looked through, the 200 or 300 likes on every post, and they're all friends, family, and and fools. None of them were potential clients for us, really. So while it looked like it was great, it was going there, they were just friends and family who were being really polite by ticking our posts, thinking they were helping us. Now they probably are helping us to expand, but they weren't really helping us in the way that we thought, because we weren't connecting with the people we really needed to connect with. So your social media without a strong website, I think, is a real challenge. So just a quick question: how many of you would say you've got a decent website? Just type it into the question box. So type in just give me a on its way. Yeah, got a good website. Yeah, no. Quite a few people need some work on their websites. Yeah, I think so. Good stuff. Yeah, everybody's in the process of upgrading it right now. That's all good. Yeah, 100% better than it was. Yeah, could be better. So I think that's the first thing, to make sure that you put some time and energy and some effort into your website, and then start to think about building content. How can we build really good content that's going to attract people? Now, the important part about the content is to make sure that it is content that demonstrates your capability, of you and your business. Yeah. So make sure that you're building really good content. Yeah. So here. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So everybody's still needing a lot to work on their websites, and it's locked into other websites. Yeah. So some of the challenges there are just to make sure we've got really good quality content. So let's just go through some of the key elements of this marketing funnel. So I'll just take you through it. So some of the key concepts here. So, you need to have a clear strategy. So one of the things I find is people are just out there rushing around the countryside doing lots of random stuff in the digital space. So you want to have a clear strategy on who it is you're going to approach, why, and what you're aiming for. All right, so that's really important. So get your strategy really clear, and that thought leadership strategy is really important. Build that body of work, and by that I mean build all those content pieces that are going to help you drive that, you sort of get that content and get your capability across to your clients. Get that content across to your clients. So you want to build that body of work, and Alan Weiss talks about it's really important to build a body of work that demonstrates your capability. All right, so really important that you do that. So think through, what are the things I need to do? What's our capability? What are the issues that our clients have, and how can we actually help them to build that body of work? You build your body of work around that. So create some lead magnets. So create some simple things that that you can do to actually that you can give away, that are of high value to clients and potential prospects for your business, and really demonstrate your capability. So they can be reports, they can be surveys, they can be blog articles that you've written. There's people published their blog articles into a book and done all that sort of stuff. So lots of different things that you can do. It can be a calculator, it can be all sorts of different things, but create some lead magnets, some things where people will come and talk to you, and will be looking for you and your business, and demonstrate your capability, more importantly. All right, and then you can use those as an enticement to get people to sign up to different programs and do different things. Okay. make sure that you've got a strong website. It's your publishing engine, so it's where you're going to put all this content. All right, so it's when you put your content, you're going to put your sales pages, your conversion pages. The gurus are all saying you can't convert on Facebook. You need to get them back to your website where you've got some long form copy, you've got some video, you've got some other things. So Facebook can pique their interest. Even qualify them a bit, but it's really on your sales, on your sales pages, on your website, on your landing pages is where you want to convert people. So think about your website as a publishing engine, and let's put a lot of content across it. We're going to talk more about content in a little while. All right. You need to have call to actions. Yeah. So you need to have some call to actions. Conference a couple of weeks ago, and one of the keynote speakers was talking about this and said, you should go through and have a call to action on every blog article. So I'm about to go back through and rework my website and add call to actions to nearly everything. All right. So you want to have calls to action so people pick up the phone, click on your website, click on your email list, whatever it is, come sign up to a webinar like you guys have done. It's all part of that call to action. All right. Make sure you have a good follow-up process. Typically what happens is people will come along, and if they're not ready to buy from you now, if you don't have a follow-up process, then you lose them. So a good follow-up process is to put people into a list, some sort of mailing list, send them out content regularly, touch base on them regularly, but then every now and then send them an offer and say, hey, are you still interested in doing X, Y, Z? And if you are, click here, and then you'll get the handful of people who put their hand up will then move into a more detailed sales process with you. Okay, so you need to have follow-up process. All right, so this needs to be systematic about some of this stuff. All right. So let's talk about social platforms. So, before we do that, how are we going so far? So, does that infographic help explain what you need to do? If you can run down the center column first, or you can, and then my advice is you can run down the sort of left-hand side. But does that making sense? Cool. All right. So anybody got any questions then? So everybody seems to think the infograpic's helping. Yep. Perfect. All right. So any questions about that, any aspects of that process? I mean, we might get to some. I'll probably answer some of these for you soon, but are there any questions that leap to mind straight away? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we've got a comment here that tracking your data is really important. Yeah. So you do want to have, you want to understand where your business is coming from. Use your analytics on Google and other things, all that sorts of stuff. Yeah. We'll talk about social media in a minute, Warwick. That may answer your question there. So yeah, yeah. So we'll look at that. Okay. So let's talk about social platforms. All right. So lots and lots of social platforms out there. Everything from Facebook to LinkedIn to Pinterest to Snapchat and all sorts of other things. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. I'll come back and answer that question in a little while, Michael. If I forget, you pick me up at the end, please. So what social platform is the right one for you? Oh, we've done it again. Yeah, I normally don't have a problem with it, Justin. I really don't. But anyway, tonight it's proved me a liar. Anyway, social platforms. Let's just think about them. So, so many social platforms, so much stuff to do, and where do you put your shots? And too often I find people are not thinking about what social platforms that they should be on. They're just sort of going on where everybody tells them to go and where they think they should be. So what I like to think about is then, if you can think about the platform, who's your target market? What do you sell? Which can be really important because of your project. Product's quite visual or something. You may want to go somewhere different. Where does that target market hang out when they're looking for your product or service? And how targeted can you be, and do you need to be really targeted with it? So just to think about that. If your target market is consumers, then going to somewhere like LinkedIn may not be appropriate. All right, but if your target market is business to business and you're selling business services that business people do, like I do, then going onto Facebook is as limited as use for you, because that's not where people hang out looking for business coaches or accountants or whatever. Now, you may occasionally jag one, but that's like going fishing with the wrong bait, and actually just, jagging a fish as it swims by. So, hooking it through the gills. And sometimes you get just enough of those to actually make you keep doing it. Whereas if you put your effort into one social media platform, you'll get a lot more results. In terms of targeted, you may want to be using advertising and other things, or boosting services on different platforms to get you in front of your target market. So how targeted can you be, and how targeted do you want to be for it? So they're the four questions that I think of. When I think of different social platforms, here's the some of the main contenders. What I find is that, Facebook is really good for business to consumer stuff. So if you're a personal trainer or something like that, then I'd be on Facebook all the time. Because that's where your target market will hang out for you. It's got live video now. It's got some pretty cool stuff happening. So Facebook is useful. You can also boost your posts. You can really get in front of the demographics you want to get to quite easily. So, think about your target market and the products that you sell. Now, LinkedIn, very much about business to business. And there's lots and lots of people on LinkedIn, and there's more and more people, and it's particularly popular in Australia. Twitter, I personally don't get Twitter, and the fact that Donald Trump spends all his time on it makes me even less skeptical of the whole thing. But Twitter is very much business to consumer and business to business. You get both of them, but it's short form, right? So it's very short form in terms of the message you can get across and how you use that. And I think that's why people like it, because it's short and punchy to the point. But you've got to use it as a mechanism for getting people to engage with you and then getting them back to your website in some format where you can or having a phone call or something where you can have a meaningful one-on-one conversation with them. YouTube, fastest growing media on everywhere is video. So, you need to have a YouTube channel, and it's great for all forms, particularly good for millennials. And of course, it's very strong around video. And they can, get a lot of followers and all sorts of stuff on it. Webinars, very good for business to business, can work for business to consumer. I don't think they work quite as well, but business to business, it works extremely well. Great for selling services, and it's great because it's that sort of live video feed, so you can feed that back through your website. And on your YouTube channel. Podcasting, really good. Surprised the number of podcasts I still listen to. Good thing about them, you can actually reuse your videos and stuff into podcasting services, and you can just simply carve off the audio content if you want to, embellish it a little bit with some front and back end maybe, and away you go. Pinterest, which I've only had a cursory look at, is can work for business to business stuff. It's very visual, so if you've got visually appealing products or visually appealing, if you're a good looking person, then you might want to get yourself on Pinterest. It's great if you've got great images and all that sort of stuff. So it's very much a visual medium. Instagram is the same, but it's very much used by millennials, and they use it in a wide range of things, very much business to consumer. And again, you need visually appealing products, but you can put images and video up on it, and it's fairly good. Snapchat, which my kids are all on, and I don't understand one little bit of, they very much, my daughters are telling me that people are selling through Snapchat, but they're all selling to millennials. And it's a very, very personal way of selling. So they're the platforms that you've got. And there are so many different things that you can be doing. So I think those 4 questions are really important, that sort of stuff. So, so the platform's really different. So I've got a couple of comments here. Just shared a couple of blog posts and got as many visits from Facebook as LinkedIn and Twitter, which surprised me. I'm not saying you won't get things, but my experience is, depends on the industry, and lots of people aren't on Facebook looking for that stuff. But again, I've been wrong in the past. So you got to find out what works for you. And works it there. I mean, 25% of the people, I haven't looked at the stats for this webinar, but 25% of people that register for these webinars come by the Twitter feed, which I find is quite amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So comment here. See lots of articles coming through to read on LinkedIn. Don't have time to read them. Many people are the same. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Do you actually need a social platform? Having said that, I get what you're saying about YouTube and webinars. Yeah, exactly, Bill. So you don't necessarily need to be on social media and really pushing social media. And if you don't have a great website, there's not much point. So I think you're better off to put your time and your effort into building great content and getting some content up to the point where you've got something to show people when they do come to your website, before you race around wasting lots of time and energy on social media. Yeah. What else we got here? Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. LinkedIn is 4.3 million monthly users. YouTube is 15 million monthly users. Yeah, definitely. And video is growing. Yeah. 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 Get your Snap story happening. I don't think so, but anyway. Yeah. And that's right. I think you just got to work out with this. Yeah. How do we crack Twitter? I have no idea. I just don't get it. But and I think it's those things. I think also with these things is find a platform that you like and that you connect with and you understand and work it. And just see it, measure, look at your stats. It's great, lots of stats on, I spend more time on LinkedIn, so I'm familiar with it, but it's got great stats on how many people are liking your posts and who are they and where they're from and what they're doing and that sort of stuff. And you can use that to expand your network and keep going. In terms of analytics, make sure you've got good analytics on your website. So I just use the standard Google Analytics, and we look at those, and then we look through at click-throughs on our from our landing pages and looking at conversion rates and those sorts of stuff, to try and understand what people like and where they're going. So it's unfortunately it's all a bit hard, but there's plenty of tools out there to give you some great statistics. Yeah. That's right. So you could use Twitter to entice people to come into other long form platforms. Yeah, good comment, Cameron. All right. So my advice: pick 2 or 3 platforms and focus on them. All right. So for me, I do LinkedIn, webinars, and YouTube. That's what works for me. Yeah. We've got the website. We do some blogs. We do some other stuff, but making sure we've got those sort of those 3 work really, really well for me. Now you need to work out what they are. So ask yourself those 4 questions. Who's my target market? What products do I sell to them? Where do they go when they're looking for people? And how do I target? Can I target? Do I need to target people better than what I will? Is it a broad brush approach? Pick the platforms that work for you. I think one of the gurus I heard talking the other day said, one platform, one lead magnet, one target market, and one product is what you need to get really successful. So just maintain it and be really focused. So, I say 2 or 3 platforms here, but really the webinars are just a way of building content for YouTube. So really I run with LinkedIn and YouTube for most of what I do. All right. And it seems to be working fairly well. All right, so let's talk about content generation. Oh, hang on, we've got a question here. So actually, we'll type some question. Yeah. Think about HootSuite to help manage. Yeah. I actually used HootSuite for quite a long time, and I found it particularly good. It had a service in there that would help you actually find content, so it was quite good for that, and it allows you to post things out and get things going. What do I use now? I'm actually not doing very much posting and very much content stuff at the moment, so we're just sort of ramping that up at the moment, but we'll probably go back to using HootSuite, I would think. Yeah. So Justin, who's a bit of a tech guru, uses Buffer. There you go. So there's another one. So Buffer, Buffer. All right. Okay. So let's talk about generating content. Just mindful of the time. So for me, it's about generating systematic content. So being systematic in how you generate the content. None of us have lots of time to agonize over things and do things. So we need to be quite systematic in how we generate it, more to get the consistency of publishing up, so that we're putting out content, new content regularly. We've got content to send to people, to do all that sort of stuff. So we need to be generating content. So let's just talk a little bit about it. So get a couple of different ways you can do it. Do it yourself, so you can actually write it and produce it and do it all yourself. So that's all fine. You can have somebody contract to do it. So you can get virtual assistants. There's freelance copywriters. I know a couple here on the Gold Coast. And I've got a great virtual assistant in Ray. And I engaged Ray largely because she wrote extremely well and has been great at helping me pull blog articles and stuff together. So do that. And then there's also a number of third-party suppliers out there with industry-specific, I call them newsletter services, but that's sort of old speak for blogs, but where you can get blog articles and all that sort of stuff. Just got to be mindful that sometimes I go in, and I've seen a number in the accounting industry where people are using a newsletter service, and everybody seems to have the same newsletter, so there's nothing necessarily differentiating for you in that space. Getting ideas. Where do you get the ideas from for your content? So people ask me this all the time. So one of the key things you can do is just brainstorm, 50 or 20 issues that are impacting your clients, and then write articles or blogs around those. Borrow ideas and topics from other blogs. I'm not suggesting you plagiarize, but often I'll see an article in Harvard Business Review or Inc. magazine or whatever, and I'll go, that's really good, and it might be a paragraph or two that I really like that will then get me thinking about something, and I'll create a blog or something around that. Yeah, and use that. So I build on other people's inspiration, if you like. Find YouTube videos and that sort of stuff that you like, and write a blog version of it. So write your own version of it. But the first one is probably the best one. So think of the 50 issues that are impacting your clients, and just brainstorm them. Write a heap of them down, and then start to use them as tools to help you generate some content. All right. Now I have a content generation tool that I use, and I'm happy to share that with you. It's quite simple in it. The way I use it is it's a framework for Ray and I to work together. So I'll come up with a working title for the blog article or the video, or whatever we want to do. I'll identify 3 or 4 points I'd like to make in that article, and the conclusion I'd like us to draw from it. And then I may give her some links to some maybe an article that I read on the topic, or some stats I've seen or something, and then ask her to write the rest of the article. So that works fairly well for us. What works well for me, and she seems to do a great job. So what word count? My understanding is this, that 250 to 400 words is about where you want to be loading. So in that sort of space, about an A4 page, where we want to go. Okay, so let's have a look here. So, thanks. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, I normally do, and I thought I had, but obviously not. Anyway, that's what you get for rushing around. So content. So I think a really important thing to think about with content is how do we sort of recycle, refurbish, and repurpose our content? And what I mean by that is how do we get the most leverage out of our content that we possibly can? So, what I'm thinking of here is, write a short blog, post it on your website. Create a short video of that blog, post it on YouTube, and then embed that back onto your website again. Use that video then to create a podcast. Yeah, so you can then hang that off your website and post it on iTunes and other blog sites, and then you can create a detailed webinar of that blog. If it's a popular blog, create a detailed webinar of it. Yeah? And then the other thing you can do then is start to repost content that was popular, particularly on social media, where it's, as I said, it's very transient. So if you find a post that worked really well for you, just repost it again sort of, a month or two later, because different people will see it again. All right. And then you can use, there's products called, that will spin your article. So you can actually, and we'll get to this when we get to the planning thing, but you can actually take an article, put it through a program which will spin it and change it for you slightly, so that you can then go and post it on other sites like Reddit and other places where you can start to get some traction. Reddit, HubSpot, different places, and therefore you start to get more stuff feeding back into your website. Yeah, so you start to get more content that you can feed back to your website again. And if it's different content, you get much better SEO out of it. Okay, the question here. Good video tools. I use ScreenFlow. Camtasia is quite good. If you're only doing short videos, then Snagit would be okay. But I find try either, those sorts of things. Yeah. So I don't know about the difference between iTunes and SoundCloud. Justin, I'm not really into podcasting, but I know there's plenty of good reviews on that sort of stuff around the place. So just to give you an idea of how I've sort of done it. So if you looked at our webinar from a little while ago, which is on your 3 barriers to success. From that, we did exactly what I've talked about. So we actually had we wrote a short blog article. We did a video, which we then posted onto YouTube. We then embedded that video back into not only the blog article, but also to the video page on my website. And then we did a webinar, which of course we then put on YouTube as well. So, and the webinar is also on the website as well. So it was that one blog. We got a blog article, a video, and a webinar out of it, and that's given us multiple forms of content on our website from that one piece of content. So it's about getting leverage out of it. Okay, so think about how you can get leverage out of your material to repurpose it and recycle it. Yeah, it just makes life a lot easier than trying to reinvent the wheel every time to write new stuff. All right, so let's pull it all together. So what I've created here is what I call a digital marketing plan, and I borrowed this from some other templates that I've seen around the place. And I'm happy to share this with you, and I'll give you some instructions on where you can get a copy of it at the end of the webinar. But let's just take you through it. So the first sort of area on the left-hand side here is really around who's our target market, what are their needs, what's the vision for our business, our strategy for our business, that sort of stuff. What's our competitive advantage? Why do people buy from you? And then some of that stuff around what are the top issues that you solve for people. So get your head around the sort of foundational stuff around getting your strategy right, your target market right, all that sort of stuff right. We can then go and think about what sort of platforms and things are we going to work on. So we're going to work on, SEO. All right. So we're going to work on search engine optimization. So if we put some keywords in, what are the keywords we're going to have in Google for search engine optimization, and how do we build that? Are we going to do some paid search stuff? Google AdWords, that sort of stuff, to actually get us further up in the chain. And we just can tick off those boxes if we want to do that. On our website, we're going to make sure that we've got it's phone and tablet friendly. You really want that. We want to have some landing pages where people can come back to, where we can send people to either convert them to come to our a further sales event, or to get them to come and spend time to see us and to talk with us. And then we need to think about the platforms. Ask yourself those 4 platforms and just tick off the ones that you're going to use. All right. So just get your strategy right and clear there. This area here is talking all about how do we get more leverage through backlinks and PR. So where are you going to go, to do that? So what are the sort of things you're going to do? Are you going to be write some authority blogs? Do you know some influencers that may promote you or your product? Can you do podcast interviews with other people? All that sort of stuff. What can we do? I actually don't know what newsjacking is. I assume it's taking a news story and trying to make it your own. But anyway, there are lots of different things that we can be doing there, and lots of different sites that you can be using to help sort of build that back end PR stuff. And it works extremely well. But you got to be focused on it. All right. We then got to think about your calls to action. So the calls to action we want to have are, do we want them to purchase from us? So be clear about it. Do we want to purchase from us? Do we want them to buy? Do we want to upsell? Do we want them to buy, take on a paid membership to do what they do? Or do we just want them to inquire, to contact us in some way, make a phone call or an appointment, to email you? Do you just want them to connect with you? You may want them to do all these things, but out of these, what are the main things that you want them to do? Subscribe to your email newsletter, drop into an autoresponder, sort of funnel, all that sort of stuff. They want to come to your webinars. They want to connect with you on social media. So make sure that you've got all the mechanisms to allow these things to happen. And then lastly, if you've got some lead magnets, what are your free downloads? Is it some content? Is it a great lead magnet? Is it a giveaway? Are they templates? Are they ebooks? Or those sorts of things? So what are those sorts of calls to actions are you going to take, and do you have in your business, around your business? You can then think through your key digital sort of strategies. So, for each channel and platform, so you might say on LinkedIn, what sort of lead magnets am I going to use? What sort of is the conversion tool I'm going to use to get them to come across to that? Is it a webinar? Is it a podcast? Is it just a simple landing page, what it might be? What is my call to action? And if they don't sign up out of that, what's the follow-up funnel that you might put them in? If you have multiple funnels, you may just have the one sort of funnel, but what's the follow-up process that we're going to lead? So be quite systematic in your thinking about those things. All right, in terms of then measuring our performance, so a simple scorecard, you can modify the scorecard all you like, but, how many new clients are you getting out of or purchases, and how much product are you selling? What number of inquiries you've got? What number of connections do you have, or what number of downloads? What's your goal, and what are the results that you might be looking for over time? So think through those things, and then lastly, what are your 90-day actions? So what are the things you're going to do in the next 90 days in order to execute on this digital marketing strategy? All right, so that's the process, if you like. Oh, so questions about the plan. Does it make any sense? Is it? I mean, I'm sure there's things there that you think you'd like to add to it, and that's fine. But does it cover off most of the areas that you think you'd need to help you build a bit of a digital marketing strategy? Yeah, you're right. It's just a starting point to get you going, to get you thinking. Yeah. And you do have a starting point for your measurement, that sort of stuff. Yeah. So it's I guess I look at sort of these things and find just too often we don't have a plan. We're all rushing around trying to do stuff, and but we're unsure of where to start. And for me, this is all about giving you somewhere to start. Yeah. Yeah, and Julie, it's a great point. You do need to link your digital strategy with your traditional marketing strategy. And for me, that's where things like understanding your target market and what their wants and aspirations are and those sorts of things is really important. And what do we sell to them, and why do we want to sell to them? Now, most people's traditional marketing strategy, to be honest, is pretty poor. So most people, their marketing strategies, I'm just going to have coffee or drinks with people, and hopefully they will buy up from us. So, not too many people out there with a great marketing strategy to start with. But if you do, your digital strategy is complementary to your marketing strategy. So if you're running an advertising budget and you're doing other things and you're doing some great work, then definitely this digital strategy needs to link very, very clearly and very closely with that. All right, so I've got a feeling, I know. Yeah, it's a good baseline to start thinking from. Yeah, need to put a lot of thought into it. I'll put a lot of thought into it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's good. Yeah, so and it's something you can use with your client base as well. If you've got clients in this space, friends or family or whatever, to help them. So yeah. Yeah, and your digital marketing plan will differ from industry to industry, and that's why it's important that you look at all the different options, because it's not one size fits all. And I hear that too often. People saying, "Oh, you have to be on XYZ platform." Somebody was telling me the other day you had to be on Pinterest. I'm going, why? I don't see why I need to be on Pinterest. I really don't. I don't have enough trouble being on one platform without being on any more. So be really, really clear about where you're going and what you want to do. And this is just a way to get your thoughts down. My experience is you get your thoughts down, you start to write things down, you start to get some structure into what you do, then all of a sudden you've actually got something to work to. All right. So let's start to wrap this up for the night. If I want to get through that. My system crashing. Shouldn't have said that. Anyway, next step. So if you'd like a copy of this digital marketing strategy, what I want to try and do is do something a little bit different. So normally I just say, send me an email and I'll flick you out a copy of it, or we'll send you out a copy of it, whatever. All right. So what I want you to do is, as soon as we finish the webinar here, I'm going to jump onto LinkedIn. I want you to connect with me on LinkedIn. I want you to find the post I'm going to put up in a little minute around digital marketing templates, and I'd like you to like that post, make some sort of comment, please make it not rude, and ask for a copy of the digital marketing template, and then I'll send you a copy of it. So I want to try that a little bit differently to, hey, I'll just, if you want a copy, just send me an email and I'll flick it out to you. So that's that. Yeah. So I'll come back to your question in a second, Lodi. So yeah. And if you're not on LinkedIn, that's fine. You can then just do the standard thing and send me a video. That's fine. But I'm on LinkedIn and I don't really go too many other places, so that'd be fantastic. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Also, if you'd like to discuss any elements of today's webinar or any other issue for that matter, then I'm really happy to spend 10 or 20 minutes having a chat with you via Skype or whatever. So just to do that, if you go to my website, you'll see that there's a link there to having a 10-minute chat with me. So go to shift.com.au, and really happy to spend some time with you on that. No obligation, no sales pressure, just have a decent person-to-person chat with you about you and your business and where we're going. And the thing has crashed again. All right, so the next webinar, haven't planned it. This webinar actually came out of out of some ideas from somebody else that somebody else gave me. So from one of the other webinars. So really happy to get an email or a post or whatever from you on what you think you'd like to hear in another webinar, but really happy to put some time and effort into that for you. So give me your ideas and we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, thanks very much. I've got a couple of questions here, so let's just go through the questions before we close out. So here we go. So landing page. So what's a landing page? So a landing page is a special page on your website where you send people and you either get them to give you their contact details or to buy a product from you or to sign up to something. So it's a sales oriented web page, if you like, yeah, with a strong sales focus. Hope that makes sense. There's a question I don't know the answer to. Being on Google Plus helps with your SEO. Can anybody confirm that? Thanks, Rowie. I don't know myself. Anybody want to give us some feedback on that? My understanding is being on YouTube is owned by Google certainly does help with your SEO. Yeah, and we will be sending out a copy of the webinar. Yeah, sure. All right, just looking at here. A LinkedIn address? Yeah, sure. There we go there. So, yeah, if you just go on and search for Russell Cummings, you'll find me. I'm the big buff head. Yeah, you'll get me there. All right. How do you find influencers? It's a really interesting question. I've not done much space in that, but there are plenty of people out there finding micro influencers and those sorts of people. I believe there's it's an app and a website called Scrunch, which will help you put you into contact with influencers and using data to find the best influencer for you. But somebody else may have any more there. Anybody else got any info on that? I'll keep strolling through here. I've got quite a few questions, actually. All right. What have we got here? Oh, man. All right. I'm just going to leave it there. So I'm not going to bother putting up the PowerPoint yet again. It's the worst night I've ever had in PowerPoint, I've got to say. So tools for tracking data. So Google Analytics is where you should have for your website as an absolute minimum. It's got some really, really powerful tools in it. I then use a spreadsheet one of the free spreadsheets I got from HubSpot. If you sign up to their thing, they have lots of free resources, and one of them is a great tracking tool for tracking web hits and conversions and all that sort of stuff. So it pulls it all together in one sort of place. Yeah. So a couple of questions. People saying they don't think Google Plus is any good for SEO, and it's pretty crap. I must admit, I've not really got engaged with it at all. only the Google Product Manager uses it. That's probably right. Yeah. No worries, Trevor. Righto. Thanks, David. Catch you later. Thanks, Bill. What are my thoughts on WhatsApp? So WhatsApp is interesting, and in certain target markets, I guess it's probably what you've got to look at. So if you're doing lots of work in Asia, then definitely be on WhatsApp, and WeChat's the other one you probably want to be on. Yeah, I think WhatsApp works, but again, it depends on who your target market is. All right, so they all work in certain targets. Is the question. All right, so that's all the questions. All right, thanks, Phil. Very good. All right, so my apologies again for the crashing of the website, of the PowerPoint, and for having all my rubbish up on there for you, all my tax planning. So thanks very much, guys, and really look forward to catching up with you in the future, and I'll see you on LinkedIn fairly soon. All right.